Dude, you don't watch One Piece?
I mean, I'm not really into that kind of stuff.
What kind of stuff?
You know, pirates doing pirate things.
Wait, you think One Piece is just about pirates doing pirate stuff?
Is it not the case?
Okay, let me explain to you. A story of a rubber man driven by the ambition of becoming the pirate king, and to achieve that he should claim a particular treasure with great value and great wealth, better known as the One Piece. After hearing that, we immediately expect story elements related to pirates. But is the essence of One Piece just a pirate story? Well, we certainly got plenty of those elements. We got pirates, obviously, ships, pirate crews, sadly no eye patches, sea shanty, wooden leg pirate, treasure maps, and treasure chests. Especially treasure chests. They are the ultimate goal of pirates. Once we think of them, we imagine a bunch of gold that could make you incredibly rich, but when you really think about it, One Piece is different. The treasure chests in the story aren't always filled with gold as per tradition. For example, in the early episodes, there is this character named Gaimon. He's an old man who got stuck in a chest while trying to search for a treasure. And the sad part is, his crew left him on the island. So he spent 20 years protecting the treasure he was seeking, only to discover, thanks to Luffy, that the treasure had been empty all along. Of course, Luffy invited him to join the crew, but he refused, pledging to protect the animals in the island, considering them his real treasure. Some even say that Gaimon is actually a foreshadowing for the One Piece, but that's a story for a different video. The point is, even the most classic pirate story elements, chests containing gold, isn't the same in One Piece. Treasure isn't always gold in this story, and there are other chests with people shoved in them, which is a fun little quirky element that Oda seems to really enjoy. Oh wait, I thought this was gonna be a cheerful tangent, but anyways, let's just say that One Piece does have many unconventional treasure chests. Treasures aren't the only element of a pirate story. We need a pirate crew and fights, and we certainly got those. I'm still not over the fact that we have no eye patches, but anyway, Luffy's first mission is to find a pirate crew to accompany him through his journey. With a combination of luck and goodwill, Luffy succeeds in finding a crew in a ship. Once you travel with the crew, you start to understand that the whole world is built around the concept of piracy. The world is made out of islands, so most of the world is just sea, which is the natural habitat of pirates. Oda designed the world to perfectly fit his pirate story.
Hold up. So it is a pirate story. What did you say otherwise?
Okay, first, you scared the shit out of me, and also I didn't finish yet, so just hear me out. So as you keep watching, you start discovering a rich world outside the scope of our main characters. You begin to realize that actually, it's not the story of Luffy the pirate and his friends. It's also the story of a living, breathing world that functions independently from our main cast. Even if the world is designed for pirates, they are not the only faction in play. Not everything revolves around them. So basically, One Piece isn't only a pirate story after all. It's about a living, breathing world. What makes this world special are the details. Each time we get a new reveal, many things that once had been thought to be with no real impact on the story turned out to be very important. Even small moments that we thought were added for comedic relief turned out to be a foreshadowing for something very pivotal in the story. For instance, Mr. Prince, Sanji's nickname in Alabasta. This goes to show how the story is super cohesive and well thought out, which adds to the immersive world. Every detail can be important in some way or another, so the story has the potential to suck you in. It pushes you to reread it in hindsight to understand all the amazing details that have been hinted at throughout it. The story of One Piece is a huge master plan in which mostly everything was planned out and expected from day one. It makes the story a living, breathing world. Every story about the world, however small it is, eventually contributes to the overall story and adds to the richness of the world. However, these details are usually told through the dialogue of characters and their interactions with the world.
Okay, so just like the way we're interacting right now in this video?
Yeah, you can say that. Just stop interrupting me already.
Okay, I guess I get it now. One Piece is about the world building, right?
Yeah, no.
Okay, you're really playing on my nerves right now.
Just bear with me. We see the world through its reactions to the actions of all the characters. So the characters play a huge role in the story. In fact, if the characters failed to display the world of One Piece, it wouldn't be such a complex world in the first place, would it? Fundamentally, we can say that One Piece is actually all about the characters. Their nuance and human nature makes them stand out. You can pinpoint the values of a character after spending enough time time with them. Still, it's not easy to predict their reactions to situations as their personality is complex and has multiple layers. Luffy, for example, is an idiot who only thinks in a straightforward manner. But when it comes to emotionally heavy situations for other characters, Luffy steps up and shows an incredible emotional intelligence. He understands what the person is going through and helps them in ways that they really need. He frees them, and he's all about freedom. Luffy has done this with a lot of characters, notably Robin, Nami, Sanji and Chopper. Had you not known Luffy's character, those moments wouldn't make any sense. In fact, sometimes characters do indeed behave in a confusing and unexpected manner. It seems like that behavior is out of character, and out of nowhere, a wide backstory appears that recontextualizes everything about the characters and gives it meaning. This is especially true for villains. Oda always gives as much attention and care to villains as he does for his main characters. Their backstories include traumas that make you understand their actions. Of course, you do hate the villains as any other well-written story, but their depth just adds an additional layer of complexity and nuance to them. They are morally ambiguous, just as any human being would be. Doflamingo is a great example of this. You understand his reaction to his traumatizing childhood, in which he had no real choice. Still, you despise his unforgivable actions and think that his past doesn't justify them. Villains are a great illustration of the masterful character building in One Piece. Even side characters have sometimes deep, impactful backstories, while they would probably be just one-shot characters. Gaimon, the chist old man I mentioned earlier, was seemingly a one-shot character with a good backstory. A better example of the idea would be Senior Pink. He was most certainly a one-shot character with a hard-hitting backstory. I mean, look at this character. The dude is using a suit and is wearing baby clothes. He looks ridiculous, right? Well, if you see his flashback, you might even wear his clothes as cosplay. The thing is, you never know when a character in One Piece is a side character. Random side characters sometimes become very important to the story. Multiple examples come to mind, like the whole cast of Dressrosa, the legendary Baggy the Clown, not to forget our Bonkle and many others. This goes to show how much thought Oda puts into his characters, and how much he invests in his world to be as complete and immersive as possible. In fact, One Piece has a huge cast of more than 1,000 characters. And what's more surprising about these characters is the worldwide characters poll. The fandom was given the chance to vote for their favorite characters out of the 1,000 characters. If you browse the list of the top 100, you will certainly recognize almost all the characters there, and you will be able to paint a decent picture about who they are. The surprising part for me though was that in a series lasting 25 years in developing characters since day one character, Yamato, managed to rank in the top 20, while they had only been introduced a few chapters before the poll and had never appeared in the anime. It's crazy to me that the whole world fell in love with them in just a few chapters. For me, this only meant that Oda is still on the top of his game, and even after 25 years into the story, he can bring novelty in his characters and blow the fandom away. So in fact, the whole One Piece story isn't about characters, but it is just... A lot of times we enjoy reading One Piece only because we trust Oda. He delivers constantly, how can we not trust him? Of course we would. He had been publishing weekly for 25 years now, so we usually trust him blindly and we aren't to be blamed for that. What puzzles me often about Oda though are the cover stories. Like the dude could have just drawn a random art in the chapter cover with Luffy in the middle like a casual mangaka would do, but no. He chose to give more depth to his story and decided to draw full stories on the manga covers. This only shows Oda's dedication to One Piece. This still doesn't make sense to me though. Why does Oda write cover stories? Maybe he's an environmental activist and doesn't like wasting paper, or probably he's pressured by time to finish his manga. But it's been 25 years already. This doesn't make sense then. But you know what? Oda is a god, so maybe his construct of time is different from us mere humans. Maybe he transcends the space-time fabric and can wormhole his way in different universes. Maybe the One Piece is a real parallel universe. You know, like Spider-Man and Oda is Doctor Strange, and he can use quantum entanglement to know what's happening in that universe, then report back to us with his drawings. This is the only explanation. This could make sense of how good One Piece is. Maybe that's what One Piece is all about. It's a parallel universe.
Oh.
What? Did you say something?
Where have you gone? You've been silent for a while now.
Yeah, it's just that Oda is insane, man. I've never seen a mangaka or even a writer as dedicated as Oda.
Is he actually that big of a deal?
Even more than what you would expect. The community trusts Oda to the point of celebrating an arc full of questions without any real payoff, as we are sure that the payoff will be worth the wait. I'm not sure if another storyteller can get away with such technique of storytelling without suffering some kind of criticism, or at least it would be so difficult. You probably know what I'm referring to. The Reverie arc. The whole arc was just a setup full of questions, and it was enjoyable still. And by the time I'm recording this, we are finally living the payoff for that arc, 5 years later, and as predicted, it is so amazing. The latest string of chapters have all been 11 out of 10 chapters, and they are all based on that setup. So this takes us to the final conclusion. Oda is just passionate about One Piece. It's, I believe, the reason why he writes cover stories and answers fans on the SBS as well. He wants us to live with him inside that living, breathing world and experience everything in it. Actually, my brain wandering off earlier seems like what Oda does in some of his arcs. He gets so immersed in the story that he prepares more setup than he can chew. However, he delivers a payoff for every setup. The payoff is usually huge, so we can let the small slip slide. Again, the community does this because simply in Goda we trust. He has an amazing imagination and we are sailing together through it, similar to Luffy and his crew sailing through the Grand Line. We are in for the ride, wherever it takes us.
Wow. So, One Piece is all about Oda. That's what you're saying?
What? Who said that?
You did.
No, I didn't. Because One Piece is a parallel universe born as a paradox between the quantum entanglement and particle collision.
He's not gonna stop anytime soon. Anyhow, all hail Oda. I'm convinced. I submit to the dark side. Also, if you like this video, consider watching this one too. It's one of my favorites.